welcome back to another DoneDeal car review. I'm David OC and today we're going to be reviewing the very popular Ford Focus. Now it sits in a lineup against the Peugeot 308, the Hyundai i30, the Kia Ceed, the Opel or Vauxhall Astra, and most importantly and most competitively, the Volkswagen Golf. Now this particular one is the Vignale edition, so it's got a lot of nice extras which we're going to touch on in a moment, but prices start for the Ford Focus similarly to the Golf and all of the range at about 22,000 euros. Now this particular version, being the Vignale, is a lot fancier and it comes in at a price of just under 33,000 euros. Now, to ease that pain, there's many finance options, one of which that we haven't spoke about before is hire purchase. Basically, you can put 10k down on this car for 60 months, then you pay a 448 euro monthly payment, and at the end of it, you own the car. However, that finance is going to cost you somewhere along the lines of 3,000 euros, so something to bear in mind. Now, with over 4,000 available on DoneDeal, it's time to take a bigger look and a more in-depth look at the Ford Focus. The previous Ford Focus was a bit lacking in space and practicality, both in the boot and in the rear seats. However, Ford have taken note. So the new boot is a 375 litre boot. That's only 5 litres less than the Volkswagen Golf, so it's near enough to make no difference. However, you or I don't really know boot space in terms of litres, so what I can say is you will fit 2 suitcases in very comfortably and still have space for jumpers and whatever else you might have. Then, if we take these out, there's actually loads of nice practical points, like various different hooks here for shopping bags. You've got tethering points to tie things on, and you've even got a little passageway through there for your skis or for also your kids to play with. The last thing that Ford have added is a spare wheel, which is so much better than tire foam. And not only that, but it's actually not even a space saver. So that is a props to you, Ford. In the rear, this is where Ford have really upped the game. So first of all, the sloping roof isn't quite as much as the old car, so you've plenty of headspace, although worth noting not as much as the boxy shape Volkswagen Golf. Knee room, again, absolutely loads. In fact, if there's 3 passengers, the little lip here in the middle is not that big, so there's plenty of room for 3 adults. Then in terms of features, you have loads. You have some netting here to put your phone or your iPad. If you want to put your drinks somewhere, you have this armrest which coincides with 2 drink holders which fit a normal bottle very easily. You have more here in the door cards. Then in terms of practicality, we have loads of ISOFIX points here, and in fact, there's no covers, so you're actually going to slide your baby seat right in. Then of course, the seats do fold entirely flat, more or less, but the party piece in the back here, ladies and gentlemen, is that Ford have put a window that actually opens the whole way down, which is going to make your children very, very happy. The driver's seat, the place you're going to be spending the most time. So it's probably the most important part of any car. Well, first of all, it is good news for you because the Ford Focus, the seats are incredibly comfortable. In fact, they come with lumbar support as standard on every model. Now, in this particular car, being the higher spec, it has electric seats that go up, they go down. They're also electrically heated, which is very nice. Then the steering wheel has loads of play, so you can really get a nice comfortable position. In terms of practicality, you've got 2 drink holders right here. You've got a USB port there as well as a 12-volt socket. If you open this up, you've got a little tray here, which realistically, if I own that, I'd probably just leave it at home. You've got a USB point here and a nice deep little kind of storage area right there. Then the glove box, kind of standard. It has a shelf where it keeps its manual. Now, to be honest, there's an app where you have the whole manual to this car. So that kind of shelf with the manual, I would give it a miss if it was me. But other than that, you've got a nice little spot here. It's not very deep, but you will fit a normal drink. Another one of the party pieces in the Ford Focus is the way it makes you feel. So we spoke about the seats being very comfortable. It's also kind of elegant in here. It's got this swooping kind of dash right here. It's got a nice steering wheel. It's nice and chunky, but at the same time still quite small, which is the modern way of steering wheels kind of going. It's got a nice display here, which is actually touchscreen, We'll touch on that a little bit more in a while. Then down here, it's got the Jaguar-esque gear knob. So basically you spin it just like you would in a Jaguar, a fancier kind of alternative to a stick where you pull it in. And yeah, it just feels good. It's a nice place to be. You've got a digital dash. It's nice. So the touchscreen dash is a big upgrade from the 3rd generation. It's smooth, there's no lag. When you touch it, it actually works. What's more is, of course, and I say of course, but most of the cars in this range will have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so it connects to your phone very well. This particular model, it has sat-nav. Now, you probably won't need a sat-nav because you do have the Apple CarPlay, so you'll be able to attach your phone and use the navigation like Google Maps and also Apple Maps. So yeah, you don't necessarily need the sat-nav, but it's nice to have it. Then of course you've got all your radio stations, you've got the DAB radio, you've got voice control. I'm not going to try and use it because usually it doesn't work very well. You've got your Bluetooth connection. Then of course you've got various different settings. You can change brightness, you can change colors, all sorts of different things like that. And then you've got Forward Pass. Now this app is actually quite cool. I'm not going to touch on it too much now because it takes away from what we're focusing on, which is the interior. Down here now you've got various different buttons. So the first button is a button to choose your mode. You can have normal mode, eco mode, or sports mode. The second button is to turn your traction control off and on. Then you've got a button that will actually let the car park itself. We'll play with that in a little while. Then you've got your stop start, you're at the lights when the engine cuts off or turns on. You've got your display dash here, kind of the electronic display, which again, we'll talk about that in another while. And then last but not least, you have a really cool button. So this is something you only see, to the best of my knowledge, in a Tesla and in a Mercedes. And it's effectively when you set up to a set of lights, you put your foot in the brake, and then it will actually hold. So you can take your foot off the brake and you can relax at the lights, let that muscle kind of just chill out a little bit. And then when you want to accelerate, you just put it on the throttle and off you go. In terms of visibility, it's really good. You can see way over the bonnet, and it's actually quite a long bonnet, which gives it a sporty feel. You've got this projecting display here which shows your speed. It can also show you your lane assist, and the seats are quite comfortable. As I mentioned before, they are heated seats. On top of that, the steering wheel is heated, as I'm just finding out right now, which is nice when you're filming in the Dublin Mountains on a cold winter's day. So this particular car is a diesel version, as I previously mentioned. Now, that's an interesting one because the thing about diesels are the sales are down 14% this year in January 2019 in terms of new cars. However, it still has a 55% market share, so diesels are still going strong. They're economical, and that's why, and it's just electric is just not there yet, and hybrid is just not there yet, and that is the attraction to a diesel car. So let's put it in pure finance terms of how much it's going to cost you to go 100 kilometers. Because I could tell you that the car does 3.3 or 3.5 litres per 100 kilometers, but it's just numbers. Realistically, now the claimed, let's start with the claimed. Ford claimed that for 100 kilometers, you're going to need roughly about €4.20, and that is assuming that you're buying a litre of diesel for about €1.30, which is the current average price on the day of filming this. Now, you're not going to get that because that's assuming you're driving at about 95 kilometers an hour without touching the brakes, air conditioning off, no music on, no windows open. So realistically, you're probably going to get more like 4.5 or even 5 litres per 100 kilometers, which is about €6, touch más o menos, per 100 kilometers. So that's kind of what you're looking at, which is pretty good, I would say, to drive 100k. So it is time to discuss 3 of our least favorite and 3 of our favorite things about the Ford Focus. Number 1 for me, in my least favorite, is these clips here. Myself and the cameraman fumbled away at these for a solid 2 or 3 minutes until we figured out there is a technique to see. Even now I'm struggling. It actually won't come out. This is actually very embarrassing, but this is why. Basically, this parcel shelf does come out, but it's quite fidgety to get it out. Number 2, the exhaust. This one is fake. This one's real. This one is completely fake. And number 3, this happened to me earlier. So let's say I put the key in there and I go to start the car. no key detected comes up. You're searching for the car, for the key in a panic. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? I mean, technically Ford, that is in the car. But if I close it, we're in action. My favorite things about the Focus. Now, I could actually bang on all day. It's economical. The tax is only $200 a year. It's got lane assist. It's got accident avoidance. It's got things like this, where you open up and it protects your door from chipping and also protects the car next to you. These are all unbelievable things, but the three that strike me the most are, first of all, the overall image of the car, the look. It's so beautiful. From the outside, it looks sporty, it looks elegant. From the inside, the seats are comfortable. There's a good build quality behind it. That is number one. Number two is the reversing camera. It's really clear, it's got a crisp image, and it also shows you the direction you're gonna go. It's worth mentioning this is an extra on this car, whereas in something like a Kia Ceed, this actually comes as standard. Number three is this feature here. You press this button, it scans for a parking spot. I feel like you have to drive very close to the spot. And then when it finds it, stop, space found, reverse steering wheel shift to reverse. Okay. I'm not doing anything, look at the steering wheel. Okay, so I just want to point out one funny thing. It's trying to park us in some trolleys, so I'm gonna abort this. Take two. Space found, stop, put shift into reverse, foot off the brake. Oh my God, it's doing it. It's actually doing it. Stop, put it in drive. Oh my goodness, this is so scary. Keep going forward, keep going forward. Reverse. Oh my God, that is so crazy. Keep reversing, keep reversing, keep reversing. Back into drive. Okay, one thing I'm definitely noticing is it's not very fast to getting into the spots, but it works and I haven't crashed. Oh my God. I feel so scary doing this. I'm pulling up to a brand new Jeep. It's working. It's working. Oh my God. Well, it works. Respect. Last but not least is the new app that Ford have released called Ford Pass. Now, this is becoming more and more common across many manufacturers, but effectively it enables you to connect your car to your phone and avail of a lot of cool features. My favorite of which has to be that in a cold winter's morning, you can turn on your car, heat it up, get the heated seats on, and then go out and hop into it. The Ford Focus is a surprisingly luxurious and premium car, and for that I have to compliment them. However, we must bear in mind this is the Vignale. This is top of the line stuff. It's got a different kind of front grille to the rest of the trims. When you come around to the side, you've got these big 18-inch alloy wheels, which are absolutely lovely. You've got the chrome trim around the windows, the rear tinted windows, and then of course you do have those dual exhausts. Even though one's fake, I still do admire it. Now this comes at a cost. Once again, this jumps the price from a starting of 22,000 all the way up to 33,000. That's 11,000 euros in the difference. So you're probably going to need some sort of finance, which we spoke about hire purchase before. So bearing in mind all of this, I think it's a really good car. It surprised me. Ford have done a great job of building it from the ground up, a whole new fresh look, completely different on the interior, and all in all, I really liked it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and all in all, I hope that it has helped you get into your next car. I hope it's given you the insight you needed, the good, the bad, the pros, the cons, everything about the Ford Focus. But for now, that is all. Please subscribe for more videos, and we will see you soon.